Hello, welcome to another video from the Vintage TV and Wireless Company in Norwich. I'm Rob, and today we're going to be looking at a rarity in the UK, the bubble lights. These were a big thing in the 40s, 50s and 60s in the States. Excuse me, not particularly big in the UK, but they're Christmas lights that have little tiny vials of methylene chloride on the top that bubble when they get hot. So the little bulbs in the bottom cause the methylene chloride to get hot and they bubble away. But anyway, rather than me talking about them, this is a mixture in here. They're not just Nomas. We've got Noma. These are Paramount ones. Lots of different companies made these bulbs. They're in a Noma box. But what happens, these bulbs blow. Obviously, they don't work. So we're going to show you today how we're going to replace some of the more tricky ones. These are the flying saucer types that Noma made in, I think, 1948, 49, something like that. So they're late 40s. But yeah, this one doesn't work. The actual bulb inside here has blown, so we're going to show you how to replace that. But what I thought I'd do to start with, because as they're not that popular in the UK, I thought I'd just show you one working. So here I pop one of the little Noma bubble lamps in a little lamp holder. And fired it up, and you can see after a few minutes the methylene chloride in these tubes warms up. You can see they're nipped off at the top because they're in vacuum, so they're under low pressure inside there, and obviously as spirit is at a lower pressure, it boils at a lower temperature. I mean, you can just about make these boil in your hand if you hold them, so they don't take a lot of heat to get to bubble, but they're sitting on the top of the light bulb, which gets warms the methylene chloride up. Bubbly. I think they're really nice. Something so different. We say very unusual to our UK eyes because they just weren't very popular here. So it's probably a lot of people may never have even seen them. Anyway, I'm going to show you how we're going to repair this one because, as you see, if I plug it in, it's all going to fall over now. It's blown. It doesn't do anything. So I'm going to show you how we get in those and how we repair them. So here's the little tube. What I try and do normally is get this glass vial out of the lamp, but I don't think, you've got to be careful because obviously these are glass and methylene chloride is a funny spirit. Melt plastic quite happily, and it's not particularly good if you breathe it in, or there's a tiny amount in here. But that one, unfortunately, is not going to liberate itself from the plastic housing. So what I'm going to have to do, and we have to do it anyway, we have to cut these open to replace the bulb. They're sealed. They weren't ever designed to be repaired. They were toss it in a bin and buy a new one. First thing I do, because we're going to cut these in half, is to make a small mark on the actual plastic of the bulb itself. So this makes life a lot easier when it comes to putting it back together. Just so make sure you cover both sides. So you can just see on there I've got a little mark on the yellow and the green, so I know how to line them back up. Next job, take one of these single-sided razor blades and carefully, I do prefer to take the glass off, but I can't on this one, it's stuck hard, so you have to wait until I get inside that. I need to put my other set of glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. That should still be in shot there, yes. So carefully look for a spot where you can get your knife in. Looks promising here. There we are. And just carefully go around with the blade, just pop in the old glue is quite dry, so it tends to sort of pop and crack quite easily. Just keep wiggling around one way then t'other until the two parts are in. Oh, the actual UFO part of the thing is in two halves. Keep going around with your knife. Carefully does it, making sure you don't plunge it into your hand in the process. Now that's starting to go a little bit high there, so I'm going to go back round on this side. Where is it? It's there. So I need to carefully keep going. Oh. This one's been particularly tricky, of course, because I'm trying to show you guys how to do it. Where's it going to? It's going up there for some reason. Come on. Oh, this has been tricky, this one. Nearly there. Right, the last little bit of glue there was tricky to pop. Keep going, keep going. Gotcha. And there we have it. Two halves. Bulb in this side, methylene chloride in the other. So what I'm going to try and do now is to remove this, hold this base with one hand and then carefully just twist, and hopefully, oh, that one is really well stuck in there. There we go, we got it. Push that through. One disc, and we see we've got all this old glue and stuff which we'll need to get off there. I just normally take a blade again, just keep scraping down. Get all that old glue off. That's it. Obviously, if you've got more time, you can really get a towel on that, get every last little bit off, because you want as much contact of the glass onto the new bulb, because obviously it's the contact between the glass of the bulb and the glass of this vial that allows the heat to warm the methylene chloride. I don't think I'll get it to go in my hand. Sometimes they will. No, it's not going to play ball. Right, so put this to one side for a second. Next job, we need to get the old bulb out of this base. So I found the best job for that is a set of pliers. Grab the old bulb and then just good grip on the plastic, and then hold the plastic still and twist the pliers. And eventually the glue will just release down and just give it a slope. So it'll push through. Carefully does it. You don't want the plastic's fairly strong, to be fair, but you don't want it to not good and damage it. What's happening with this one? Oh, it's decided the bulb's going to stay in situ this time. So what's going to happen on this one is the bulb base is going to come away. I'm going to leave the glass bit inside, which is going to be handy. Right, so bulb base is gone in the bin, and now I'm left with the bulb. Oh, here we are. Oh, that's the bottom of the bulb. Now this is where it becomes tricky, because obviously you've got lots of tiny pieces of glass kicking about. So I'm just going to go in here with a screwdriver and just gone. All in the bin. Oh, lovely. Now I've got a bench covered in some more pieces of glass. Let's get them out of the way for the purpose of the video. No, they don't normally shatter. The first one I've ever had shatter on me while I was doing it, and of course it's done it today while I'm showing you guys. So just keep going through carefully, taking all the old glue and this time glass as well out the base. Right, a bit more glue there. Get rid of that as well. I don't think there's anything that causes any problems there. There's a little bit left there. Had to be the one I was showing you guys that did it anyway. So I've got to be careful I don't go and stab myself on 70-year-old light bulb shards. Let's just push them off to one side. Let the vacuum cleaner deal with those later. Right, so now we have a base that's relatively clean. We need to put a new bulb in there. Now I've got these bulbs from the States. You can't get them in the UK. I bought them on eBay. Now they are long shank 15 volt 5 watt. Or 4.5 watt they were originally, but these are 15 volt 5 watt. Obviously goes in there. But what the problem is, because these are the long shank ones, I find if you just fit these straight into the holders, there's too much thread showing, and what then allows so you can see there's a lot of thread coming through here, and when you screw this into the actual the socket, you've still got exposed thread, which is obviously which we don't want. So what I do, I should go and grab one, is I use a little grommet. Little grommet, like so, and that then spaces it off and actually gives a nice little cushion for that bulb to sit into as well. So I'm going to get the glue. And getting shot a couple of little blobs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little bits there. Just give it a squish up so it grabs hold of that, because obviously you need this bulb to be fixed fairly tightly into the bottom of the base, because it's what holds you then twist this to lock it into the set. Right, a bit more glue on there on the base. Okay, that's that. Put the lid on there before I go and squirt that everywhere, and then we just fit the new base, new bulb in the base. I knew I should have cleared that glue off better there. Got it, that's out of the way. All right, put that in there, screw it through. So I find a little tiny push, and then you've got the thread sticking out there a treat. That's just where we want it. Perfect. We've also now got the bulb housed comfortably in a little rubber seat, which stops some of the heat which get into the plastic. This plastic doesn't really melt, but it just sort of deforms if it gets too hot. It's quite a strong plastic. Right, this is where the little mark comes handy on the original two halves, because when we come to glue these together now, we can very quickly get them in the right spot. Otherwise, you'll spend hours trying to line it back up, and you'll never be able to get it in the right place. Get the glue again, and just go around and spot some glue on there. This is a super glue. It's a thick, it's not a really runny thin one. It's what they, a 60-second all-purpose glue they call it, but it is cyanoacrylate because it's pongs like super glue. So that's that, and it sticks your fingers together really quickly. So it's definitely super glue. Get the two halves, marry those lines up, bit of a wiggle to get the glue squidged round, and then you have it back together. Oh, and I've now pushed the bulb out. I've done exactly what I'm then going to tell you not to do. Right, so what you don't want to do is put any pressure on this base. You need to make sure that's up so the glue is dry. Piece of tissue, just run around the edges. Get any excess super glue off. You don't want that everywhere and sticking your fingers to it. This will polish off with a little bit of T-cut, so that's not an issue. Alright, that bolt's hold like that just for a second. You can, if you want to, just use a couple of these little bulldoggy type clips just to nip it up while it's drying. Some of them fit, some of them don't. It's quite shiny plastic. Like that. It won't take many minutes for it to go off, and there we've got the bulb in the base all ready to go. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to grab the, put that out. Oh, there's one of those bulldog clips. Grab the bulb holder. That should be back in shot there, yes. Screw this in here. Right, now you can see the new bulb is lit up nicely. And we just need to get the methylene chloride. Now these were glued in originally, but they grab really nicely in here anyway, so I don't, unless they're really loose, then you're not going to need to worry about re-gluing them. So that's how we repair those. Just let the glue go off. I'll give it a couple of seconds and I shall let it start to bubble, and I shall show you guys the repaired one. And there you have it, one repaired Noma UFO flying saucer, whatever you want to call it, bubble lamp. They're ready to go back in the set. I mean, these are for us, for a customer. We've got a special transformer because obviously these come from the States, designed for 120 volts. So we've got a step-down transformer. But yeah, these are going to be ready for Christmas, so they can pop them on their tree and enjoy these, say, amazing little lamps. It's something you just don't see in the UK, so it's nice to see them bubbling away in the UK. Any questions, any queries, drop us a line, mention something in the comments below. If you like it, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. And we've probably got a couple more Noma lights to do as well, while we're on the subject of Christmas lights, because these are the UFO ones. Noma did some other ones. So we're going to replace some bulbs in those possibly in the future. Anyway, have a good day, and thanks for watching, and speak to you soon.